This is episode 49, the live show, part 2.
And we're back with another episode of SLP's Wine and Cheese. I'm Maria.
I'm Deb.
And here's our podcast.
For the realistic SLP.
Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for showing up.
Yes, in your car or wherever you are.
During your workout,
Right.
in the shower.
Right.
As
you're walking your dog or cat. Do people walk cats?
I saw somebody actually on my block walking a cat. The
Interesting.
cat did not look pleased.
No.
No, it did not want to be walked. It would like probably to walk on its own.
Right.
But if anyone walks cats, you let us know. 'Cause
Yeah.
we'd love to hear all about that.
Yeah, I would actually.
Yeah.
So we have our obviously Grateful Palate line, and we have wine, and it's part of the bitch line. Here we
Sure
are
is.
again. So if people are wondering why we're drinking this wine, again, it's because we were supposed to have this wine delivered to us before our live show, which we'll get to talk about a little later.
Mm-hmm.
But due to the UPS guy and weather, the
Right.
wine was not present for the show, but they are still our supporters.
Yes.
And we're drinking their wine now. you
Yeah,
know?
so they
Just-
supplied us with wine for the next couple episodes until we run out.
Yeah, until we drink it all.
And luckily, we really like this wine.
Yes.
Because
So-
then that would be very problematic had we not.
Yeah. So our listeners don't get to try it, really.
Mhm,
But
right.
you can purchase this wine, and I think this wine is pretty affordable. It's like under $14.99, give or take. And it actually comes from Australia. The grapes are
Mhm.
from Spain, but it's from Australia. So look at
Oh.
that. And it's got a great name. I mean, come on.
Right. Grateful Palate or bitch?
Bitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you want to hear more about wine?
I sure do. What do you got for me?
I got a lot of stuff.
Let's hear it.
So, how many grapes do you think are needed to make a whole bottle of wine?
I have no idea.
Yes. Okay. Guess in pounds.
In pounds to make a bottle of wine, 2?
2 pounds. You're close.
Oh.
So, fun fact: it
Mhm.
takes 2.5 pounds
Oh.
of grapes for one bottle.
Wow, it's a lot
Yeah,
of grapes.
That is a lot of grapes. So, and I feel like you might have even more exciting facts because of your
Oh.
wonderful experience
Right,
at the
I went-
Rose Mansion. Woohoo!
Yeah, I went to the Rose Mansion. I think that we have a Google photo file that we shared, an album amongst myself and the 3 other people I went with, and we have just around like 2,000 pictures
Wow.
in it. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's insane how many pictures we took. The place was basically built for Instagram.
Yes, I
Yeah.
didn't want to say that.
No, it
but-
was definitely it was a genius idea. Now,
Okay.
if these people wanted to make more money, they would offer you a VIP package where someone follows you around to take your pictures for you, because it was a bit cumbersome, like having your wine glass, having your bag, getting your phone out, and then also like not taking too long because everyone was there to take pictures at each.
Station.
Yeah, it was made for taking pictures.
Yes. Yes.
So you didn't want to take too long, but also everyone was very understanding because everyone did want to take pictures too. But it was fun. Like there were stations that were clearly made for boomerangs because I like jumped out of
Oh.
a cake, or there was like a
Ooh.
bath filled with rose petals.
I saw that.
Yeah. So yeah, you like throw them up in the boomerang. There was a ball pit I nearly drowned in.
Nice.
Yeah, but there was a bunch of different tastings. I want to say like 8 different tastings.
Okay.
And they just give you like a shot of each to taste it. And then at the end, there's like tacos and bottles of wine you can buy and like sit at picnic tables and eat and take more pictures if you want.
Picture galore.
Oh, yeah. I loved it. And so did, all of my selfie friends all came. So it was a great day.
Good.
Yeah.
Question. Do you
Mhm.
feel like you were overwhelmed with the amount of pictures? Because sometimes when I do things, like when I'm traveling, it's like I just want like a couple of good shots and then I'm like done with the pictures. I don't know about you, but
I Well, there were so many different things to take pictures with, and
Mhm.
you didn't want to not do it, and it was fun. It was like playing dress up almost.
Okay.
Towards the end, I was sick of being in pictures, but I also was becoming increasingly intoxicated. So I
Right.
was like, I want to sit and eat a taco.
Yes.
But I did learn a lot.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell us what you learned.
So, do you know what fermenting means?
Yes, because I drink a lot of kombucha tea, and that's fermented.
Okay, so what does it mean?
Fermented is when there's a yeast overgrowth and live cultures in there. So it's kind of like probiotics.
Right.
So there's live bacteria, which is actually good for you, and it's good for your gut, and it's good for a healthy gut balance.
Uh-huh.
And like Greek yogurt is, for instance,
Right.
fermented.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
Louis
Cheers to
Pasteur,
me.
cheers, yes, well done for knowing that.
Cheers to fermented foods. How about that?
He discovered, back in the day, that yeast eats sugar and that creates alcohol, which is essentially the wine fermenting process.
Thank you, Louis.
Yes, we should all be very thankful to him.
I am.
What also I learned is that malic acid is a common ingredient. It's found in nearly all fruits and berries, and also in anything sour or tart tasting,
Mhm.
specifically like candy and gum.
Oh.
But it's
I was thinking
it's,
like a cherry or something.
well, that as well. It's most closely
Yeah.
associated with green apples, but
Mm.
it's also in cherries. And
Okay.
some wines have, well, I guess all wines have malic acid, but
Mhm.
it's about how much malic acid is in that wine. So if a wine has a lot of malic acid, it's a bit more tart. And if it
Mhm.
doesn't, it's a bit more sweet.
Uh-huh.
And amongst all the tastings, I found that I did prefer the wines that had higher concentrations of malic acid.
So more tart, less sweet.
Yes.
Interesting. So you
And-
found a difference in wines. Look at
I
this.
did. I
So the-
compared and contrasted.
Oh, good.
hmm
Yes.
And then also, so when that malic acid is exposed to your taste buds, that's when you start to salivate and you feel that jaw tightening.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink some more right now. So I
Right.
could feel this,
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
hmm
Yum.
Because taste buds are found in a distributed array on the tongue surface, and they're innervated by cranial nerves that convey taste information
9, the vagus nerve.
to the brain.
We don't know which cranial
But I
nerve
think
right now.
more
but-
than one, right? You know
More
what?
than
That I
one?
don't know the answer to.
Well,
right
there are
now.
multiple processes involved with swallowing, if I remember correctly.
Mhm.
But I
it's
will.
mostly the
yeah.
trigeminal nerve.
That's number 5. Okay.
So
I said 8th, right? The vagus.
You
I'm
said
messing
9.
up. I don't know what
I don't
I'm
know
saying
right now. I'm not even going to comment because
Mm-hmm.
I probably could find the answer quite quickly.
I like the 5th one. I'm going to go with the 5th. That was always like, when
Trigeminal.
in doubt, pick cranial nerve 5.
Yeah.
That's a good tip for grad school people.
That's your tip or trick?
Yeah. My tip or trick is vote for the number 5, and that actually happens to be my favorite number.
Oh, I
So
tend
that
to go
works
with
for me.
7
Mm-hmm. 7,
in
facial
general,
nerve.
just for most of anything.
Okay.
And I just found my graduate school anatomy notes.
Well, I'm glad you taught a class about this. Or no,
No,
when
this
you
is
took
just
it,
what I have from
So-
when I took it.
when you took this class like 6 years ago, and you're still having you still have the notes from this class.
I sure do, but I'm also
Okay.
moving, so I've
Right.
gone through lots of papers today because I've also watched that Marie Kondo
Oh, good.
show. And what was your question? Because I found all the cranial nerves here.
The swallowing, the taste buds, I guess. There's such an open-ended question. We want to be more specific. Which cranial nerves are, I
well,
guess,
trigeminal
for the
is
taste?
sensation in the face, scalp, and
Mm.
teeth, and the contraction of the chewing muscles. And it's also taste. The
Okay.
sense of taste is the facial nerve,
Oh.
7. And
What about
also
vagus
the
nerve?
glossopharyngeal nerve. It's sense of taste, sensory for cardiac, respiratory, and blood pressure, reflexes, contraction of the pharynx, secretion of saliva.
So vagus nerve is 10, right? So I've totally messed up with
Well,
everything.
Who cares? Because we fixed it.
Right, yes, exactly. Oh, well.
Mhm.
So there goes that. So anyway,
Yeah.
let's go back to malic acid. This was interesting.
Right.
So the more malic acid, the more tart.
Yes. So
Right?
if you tend to not like, if you tend to not like sweet wines, then you're probably more sensitive to malic acid. You
That-
like that taste better.
That's the one I am
Yeah.
like that.
And then the other thing that I learned is that humans, they do spend a lot of time perfecting most of their senses except for taste. Taste is not, but over time, the more exposures you have, the better you will like increase your palate
Yes.
and your taste desires. But it's one of the least developed senses in most humans. So everyone go out there and just start tasting stuff. You know, give it
Yeah.
a shot. Get a taste of it.
I like blind taste testing because
Oh.
it really takes away the visual. And you
Mhm.
really are relying very much and maybe even solely on the taste and texture.
Right. Yes.
And you could appreciate it more too.
Yeah,
so.
I like looking at things before I eat
I
them.
know. So do kids. That's a big one. Kids eat with their eyes.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Fun fact. So that was a lot of information. Cheers to you to remembering that and going to the Rose Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to
I
have.
highly recommend people to go. It's fun.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's like just a good different thing to do.
Yeah. With girls, friends, right? It seems
Yeah,
like a
there were
total
lots of
girl thing.
boyfriends there, though.
Really?
Yeah, they were taking pictures
lot of
with them or
patience
pictures
with
of
them.
them. You know, there's all different types of people out there.
Yeah, right. And that brings us to today is National Loving Day.
Today's June 12th.
June 12th,
Right.
2019, but it's every year, June 12th. And what does this mean? Every June 12th, there's an honoring. They honor the United States Supreme Court 1967 decision to strike down laws in several states that banned interracial marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this was sparked by a court case with a couple, an interracial couple, and they got married, and then they got arrested, and then they fought back, and they went.
What year was that?
They got married in 1958.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Right? And then, of course, it takes time for the Supreme Court and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So their case went to Supreme Court, and they won. And in 1967, they strike down the laws banning interracial marriage.
I
So-
had no idea that it was actually banned prior to that. That's insane.
Yes,
Oh,
but
my goodness.
it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so now from June 12th, 1967 onward, Americans are no longer prohibited from marrying someone they love solely because they were of a different race. So I feel like this is an exciting day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Cheers
excited.
to the excitement of love.
Yes. Cheers. Mm-hmm. So
We're taking
anyway,
a lot of sip breaks. I
yeah,
think.
I feel like I like
The
this
wine
one.
just
though.
went up my nose.
Oh no.
Not like
That's
I
not
have
good.
poor velopharyngeal closure. It's because it splashed the outside of my face.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I did take a 14-hour dysphagia course at the Children's Hospital by Rutgers on Friday and Saturday last week, and it was great.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you
It was
learn a lot?
by Joan Adverson. I can't.
Whatever it
I
is.
can't remember how to say
Mhm.
her last name.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fabulous. Totally
Good.
recommend it.
Okay, and we were talking about reviews that we want more reviews, everyone.
Yeah, please. We love
So,
reading these reviews, and
yeah.
now we're gonna introduce a new segment to the show where we read some listener reviews on
reviews.
iTunes.
I'm going to have to say this latest one from June 5th is one of my personal favorite, and the
Wow.
title is I'm Deb, and I love this podcast.
Right.
And it says, I'm Deb, and I love this podcast. I'm also on this podcast. I love seeing reviews and appreciate anyone who takes the time to write one.
Yes.
So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that Deb girl.
Do
She's
you?
pretty.
Yes, and
smart.
this is your old screen name.
Oh, Constantine.
I didn't even know what that was. I always
Yeah.
said Okononstein.
like
Meanwhile-
Frankenstein.
Meanwhile, Constantine's like Greek word.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Get it
there
together,
goes-
Greek lady.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it's a something corporate song. It's my favorite song. But this next person on May 5th, 2019 said, love it. 5 stars. I listen to this podcast during my daily commute to work as an SLP, and it always gears me up. That's by the screen name Love This App 32092.
Thank you, love this app. And I'm assuming she loves the podcast app, right?
And then
Cool.
are you going to read one more?
Yeah, I like this one because the title is just the emojis of the hands up.
Right, yeah, I
So
liked that.
Yeah, she's like, raise the
praising
roof.
it.
Yeah, K is for Kayla. Thank you, Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
And she left us a very nice review. She said, love listening in the morning on my way home to work or on my way home. I love the tips and tricks portion, but the discussion on what wine they are drinking and the descriptions are my favorite. So we're drinking bitch wine.
Right.
You're welcome,
There
Kayla.
you go, Kayla.
Yeah. I enjoyed the wide variety of topics that are discussed across the episodes. Whether you work with kids or adults, I think that they provide a variety of information that you can use no matter the setting. Thank you, ladies, so much for making my commute to work a little more enjoyable. You're welcome, Kayla.
Thank you, Kayla, for
Yes.
writing that, because you made not only my commute to work better, but my whole day better
Thank
when
you,
I saw
Kayla.
that.
Aw, that
I
was
do
nice.
check those reviews pretty often, like more than I'd like to admit. So when
Mm.
you write a review, I see it and I appreciate it.
So I'm the opposite. I have not really
You
read the
haven't?
reviews until today.
Oh, well,
Like-
we're going to start shouting everyone out.
Good. I know.
Right?
This is good.
Okay.
Great. So let's talk about what today's episode is going to be about.
Yeah.
So on May 31st, if you didn't know,
Yeah.
couple
We didn't
we-
advertise it enough.
No, we didn't talk about it nonstop for weeks ahead and annoy the world with
But
it.
luckily we did, because we sold out.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. High
That
five.
was a good goal, and we
'Cause-
reached it.
Yep. So Deb and I actually had this goal to have a live podcast episode right after Asha.
Right.
So we put it out there. That's all I'm going to
Mhm.
say. And we completed our goal. So let's not take up any more of time. And let's get right to part 2 of our live show, which was we're past already, May 31st, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
This portion that you're going to hear right now is Mike Racine, who Deb...
Right. My boyfriend, Mike
Yes.
Racine, he's a stand-up comedian, and he is quite funny, I believe. And also, he lives with a speech pathologist, so he is, like, vaguely familiar with the field. So we're going to hear for him, but first, a commercial break.
This episode is brought to you by Throat Scope.
I love my Throat Scope. It is an illuminated tongue depressor and retraction tool.
It's great for those very necessary oral mechanism exams.
Yeah, because Throat Scope integrates a natural light source to provide complete intraoral illumination for improved patient examination and outcomes.
It includes a reusable light handle that slides into a single-use tongue depressor.
So if you want to feel like a prepared SLP, you're going to want to keep your Throat Scope handy.
Yeah.
And now, on to the live show.
Give it up for Mike Racine. Let's hear woo!
Very good. Now my side. He's coming soon. All right, there he is.
I feel like my side won. My side won. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'll take this one. Thanks. Hi, everybody. Have it a hand for Deb and Maria, everyone. That's nice that you support their pod. I live with Deborah, and Maria comes to my house once a week, and I'll be like, Deborah, I spilled barbecue sauce on my shirt again, and she's like, I'm doing my podcast, so it's not like the best thing for me, but it's good for them, you know. It's nice to be here. Some of the comics didn't show up tonight, so I just want to let you know Deborah's mad, and I had to absorb a lot of her Staten Island rage back there. She was like, no one showed up, and comedians are disgusting people. You're all a bunch of degenerates. And that's true. Then why are you dating one, you know? Isn't that on you? It is funny that Deb and Maria are speech pathologists, and they're from Staten Island, because when Deborah talks, I'm like, how do they let you work with children with that accent? You know? She's like, Timmy, repeat after me. My father will kill you. Come on, I'm going to go to the mall and walk my dog. Come on, repeat after me. Dog. Dog. T-D-A-W-G. Dog. Hey, you guys are good. Got some students here. Yeah. She's like, if you leave this Danny's, it's over. But, yeah, we're going to get married really soon, I think, because, oh, thanks. Well, you guys don't know me. No, because it does, where are the married people here tonight? Oh, is this a bachelorette party? Because I'll have you thrown out of here. I'm in no mood. Who's Kelly? Oh, okay. Mystery solved. I'm Kelly, and I come to comedy shows. And I sit in the back, and I go, I'm Kelly. Like I'm... Yeah. But why did you... Are you married? Okay. Cool. Where are the single people at? That's one way of looking at it, I guess. Yeah. No, that's cool. That's yeah, you have to. But I think I'm at an age where like I can't say girlfriend, boyfriend anymore. And also, it feels like I want to be married because people who kill their spouses get a little more forgiveness on the news, you know? Because you kill your boyfriend or your girlfriend, the news is like, oh, hey, look at this tragic story. But then when someone kills their like wife or husband, you're like, there's two sides to every story, you know? Who knows what was happening there? Do you guys know about our dog? We got Frankie Wrinkles, a little couple of you. Okay, so yeah, we rescued him about a year and a half ago from a pet store. Thank you. And I learned doing comedy in Brooklyn that's bad. You're not supposed to do that. That's a very bad thing to do. It's very bad to meet an innocent puppy who never hurt anybody, and all he wants to do is come home with you, and then you give him a home. You're not supposed to. That's fucking evil, actually. What you're supposed to do is get an older dog who bit a 7-year-old. That's the more that's the more moral thing. You're supposed to get a dog with 3 legs. And it's funny because we don't do that with kids, you know? We're never like, no, don't adopt this baby. Get this 12-year-old who burns things. That'll make you feel better. But yeah, Deb and Maria, Staten Island girls. I'm from Jersey originally. And yeah, but Jersey was funny because growing up there, sometimes you would have like a cute teacher who would get married. And then her name would change to something bad, you know? Like you'd be like, oh, hey, Miss Lumio, how was your summer? And she'd be like, oh, my, I got married. I'm not Miss Lumio anymore. Now I'm Mrs. Googagoogots. I'm like, well, that's nice to know. Part of me's dead because you were soiled by a fat contractor. How did you guys get here tonight? Did you all drive your white Jettas to the... That's like the official car of speech pathology, right? A white Jetta with a Roxy sticker on it. Speech pathology. It seems like that's like a hot girl's career, right? You guys are a good-looking crowd. Yeah, all right. You just graduate high school and you go, I'm gonna help children talk. That's what I'm gonna help kids speak good. Where was I? I took the train here tonight, and I've been like working all week, and I got on the train, and the train was coming, but it was coming from the other side, so I had to like run like over the tracks and then down the stairs, and then I got to the train, and the doors closed right in front of my face, and yeah, but there was a guy on the inside of the train smiling at me. I was like, this is maybe the most evil thing I've ever encountered in my life. He was like smiling and shit, like he was happy that I missed the train, you know? It's like, I know the city's tough, but we're all in this together. You know what I mean? You don't have to, you know? And then also another part of the story is the guy on the inside of the train was me, and I was doing that to someone else. that I watched miss the train, but it's nice to see someone else fail. You know what I mean, folks? Thank you. Yeah. So I know Maria works with kids with autism. I actually, my younger brother has severe autism. Still has it, last I checked. But you never know. I haven't talked to him in a couple days, so maybe he, found it. Maybe they found a cure or something. Maybe they unvaccinated him, right, folks? All right. I'm just kidding. Yeah, all right. Okay, sorry. Sorry, everybody. Maybe my mom built a time machine and went back in time and stopped his measles vaccination. But I have two brothers, and one of them is not autistic at all. And a friend of mine met that brother recently, and then he came up to me and he goes, "Mike, I just met your brother. He's like barely autistic." And I just think that's a funny thing to learn about yourself, You're not autistic, but people think you are a little bit. I'm like, you got to stop blinking so much. Stop wearing that propeller hat everywhere, My brother was a real cute kid. Now he's 28. It's not as he's still. I mean, he looks like me. He's got my genes. He's like a good-looking guy, but it's not. He's not as cute as he used to be. Actually, now having a 28-year-old autistic kid in your house, the way I describe it to people is it's kind of like living with a bear. There's like a bear in my house at all times. I'll go home to visit, and my father's like, "Hey, he's whispering. He's like, if you want snacks, they're locked in the trunk of the car. Okay, just don't open the bag too loudly, or you'll be sorry. I'll say I didn't warn you. Okay." But he also does Special Olympics every year. Are you guys involved with Special Olympics at all? Yeah. This might be an unpopular opinion, but Special Olympics kind of sucks. It's. Mateo knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Mateo got dunked on by a taller autistic kid. No, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to make this funny, but that was like my childhood. My brother would like do Special Olympics, and my mom would make us go. We would go, and it's very boring. You sit there all day. They give you like a bag of chips. But the last time my brother did it, he was in a race. He got disqualified from a race. Can you believe they do that to Special Olympics athletes? Yeah, somebody had to like blow a whistle at him and be like, "You're disqualified. Get out of here." Why? He ran in a walking race. Which makes no sense to me at all. It was a speed walking race. He got disqualified for running. He figured out how to win the race, and then he did it. He won. He won the race with his mind. What are you talking about? Special Olympics punished a special kid for doing something really intelligent. Special Olympics, stopping winners from winning since 1982. Thank you. Do you guys want to hear a joke that Deborah told me not to tell? Well, it sounds like a yes. No, I just think it's funny that I'm not. So we got Italian people in here tonight. All right, we got Irish. All right. People make fun of Italians, but I think the Irish are just as bad as us, if not, worse. Because here's why I'm not crazy about the Irish. A potato almost killed them, and hold on, stay with me, folks. Stay with me, ladies. A potato almost killed them, and then the Irish people will complain that they were slaves, and I don't know about that, guys. I don't think you were slaves. There's another race of people, white people, who complain about being slaves, and it's Jews. And sometimes Jews will go, "We were slaves too." And that one I kind of feel bad about, right? Because imagine you have a slave and it's a Jew, right, folks? Wouldn't that be annoying if your slave had allergies? You're like, hey, go dig that hole, and he's like, okay, I just shouldn't be out in the sun for too long. My skin is sensitive. And you're like, this slave stinks, you know? I should return him to the slave store. All right, that was about how I thought that would go. Did I lose some of you? Okay. Well, that's it for my comedy. Thanks for listening, and let's bring Deb Maria back up here. Can we move? We should move those stands out of the way.
All right. Deb will do it.
Sorry, I'm a professional entertainer, folks.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be perfect.
There we go. Your mic was.
I was on a bus. I took a bus to Boston. I was watching a bunch of YouTube, and I ended up watching you wooing for the bus. Are you
They're probably wooing for Boston.
for Boston?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
all right,
great.
it's for Boston.
Yeah, one of my favorite places to do comedy, and I ended up watching YouTube is kind of like my go-to, and I ended up watching a bunch of View clips. Yeah.
Why? Because of Megan
Been
McCain?
really bored.
Yeah, I like watching her like get owned, you know, because she's like kind of a spoiled brat.
Well, I do have to
We got
let
some
you
Megan
know.
McCain fans in here.
I don't want to overgeneralize, but SLPs tend to not be so political. Do you guys agree or disagree? Agree, yeah.
I feel
Wait,
like
okay.
Too busy.
I don't know. I didn't hear that much. So, like, cheer if you're, like, up on the news and, like, all the issues and you're, like,
Political.
Yeah,
Political.
cheer if you have read a book in the past, year and a half. Yeah, all right.
okay, cheer if you only have time to read research articles.
No, just like
No?
No.
Okay.
Deb. Just
I don't
cheer
know.
if you just want to go home and watch Netflix.
Deborah's trying to make excuses for not being politically informed and active. And so as a man, I always have to explain the laws to her that are all right.
It's like predominantly
Right, I'm
female
like,
crowd.
don't you know about this abortion thing? They're coming after your rights, Deborah.
Right.
She's like, no one can take my rights away from me.
Kind of
I mean,
agree
we
with
are
that.
also not in Alabama.
Right. Or Missouri.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who are, and they're not going to be able to
Yeah, but maybe
have the
you
care
should.
that they need.
Sometimes when I'm in speech, I have to be like, you need to focus on you.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I care about women's issues more than you. It seems like.
Yeah.
Speaking of women issues.
Yeah.
What's it like dating Deb, SLP?
It's a dream. It's
Yeah.
a dream come true. She's the
it?
best. No, she's the best. She's a little impulsive. She's got a little bit of a temper sometimes.
Oh.
But
I
she's
do not.
She's a very passionate person.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not like what it's like to
But
date.
if someone said, "What's it like dating Mike?" you would have some things to say. You would have some negative things to say.
No,
know?
I would only say nice things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But what you mentioned was not like what it's like to date an SLP. What you mentioned was like
like
what it's
Deb
like to date
specifically.
me. Yeah, date me.
Yeah, she's fun, easygoing, goes with the flow, likes to eat. I like to cook, so
That's true.
yeah.
Mike does like to cook for us when we come over for podcast nights.
Yeah, yeah.
I do like to eat too.
I
Mike
think
helps
that
us out.
that is probably his best thing. He's really great at cooking. Well, he's also pretty funny too. I think so. But thanks for.
You're the only one.
I thought Mike was funny.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Stop.
I mean, I liked. I was that joke that I told you not to tell went better than I thought.
Yeah.
All right.
I know who your audience is.
Okay,
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So I think we should maybe welcome to the stage our next comedian who was
Yeah.
supposed to be before Mike, and
Right.
then give him some time, and then
Oh,
we'll close
you
out
don't
the
wanna
show with
do-
Gabriel Mayers.
All right.
What do you want to do?
I don't know. Do you guys have any questions for the ladies?
Oh, we
Oh,
were supposed to
gosh.
do a Q&A.
Oh.
This is always embarrassing. Nobody
Yeah.
asks questions when you...
How do we go about this? Just
Does
like,
anybody have a question
pass
for
around
us?
the mic?
Or
maybe?
what do you want to see on the next few episodes
Oh,
of the
yeah.
show? What do you like about the show? What do you dislike,
What do you
about,
dislike
it?
about it?
What annoys you about the show?
Yeah, really.
You know?
Just tell us all.
Yeah.
I don't know how to. Do we just pass the mic, or people are gonna shout
Raise
out
your
answers?
hand or shout out a question.
I'll go into the audience like I'm
Oh,
like I'm
all right,
Sally
Mike.
like I'm Sally
We don't-
Jesse
yeah.
Raphael.
I don't know how long that cord is.
We don't have a wireless
Oh.
mic.
But I did like that idea.
I wish I had a
Yeah,
wireless like
it was
Maury.
it was a good idea.
Maury's like, what do you want to say? I just think you need to take care of your kids. Take care of that fat baby. Everyone's like, that's right. Of course. Yes. You're so right. You're so right.
I kind of want to know.
Stop
how
feeding
long
your
this
baby
cord-
pizza roll, 9 boxes of pizza rolls every day, and give them love. Read to them. All right, are we?
Right.
I'm
yeah.
down for
No
some
pizza
Q&A.
roll can replace your lap.
Praise the love for your kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good tip.
Yeah.
The dietitian would agree with us, right?
Perhaps.
Yeah. Yes. I'm
Does
down-
anyone have any questions?
Hey,
I'm
your
down
your
for-
baby is
You
6
won't
feet
have the
tall.
chance to answer
Maybe
this.
have him help you move some furniture around the house. Make him feel included. That was a big thing with my brother with autism. My mom was always like, make him feel included. Give him jobs.
I like that.
Yeah.
You should talk about how he learned how to turn the timer off on the stove.
Oh, you can tell that story.
Well, I mean, I guess I told it already, but Mike, every year, he really likes to make lasagna for Christmas, and he really panics about this lasagna to the extent that I start to panic about the lasagna. So he put the lasagna in the stove and set the timer, because it was a check on the lasagna type timer, not the lasagna
like
is
it's done,
over
yeah.
type timer. But Alex knows what a timer means, and he's like, I've heard a timer. That means the timer needs to get turned off. So Mike's out of the room. The timer goes off. Alex turns off the timer.
Turns off the oven.
Turns off the oven.
Yeah.
And now Mike has no idea
And
how
I
long
said, you ruined Christmas. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, God damn it.
He's like on his hands and knees looking in the window of the stove, being
Yeah.
like, is the lasagna okay?
But if you're a good enough cook, you can make it. You can tell
Right.
when your lasagna's done.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Might push through. Bechamel or ricotta?
Well, you guys have this bechamel versus ricotta cheese debate. Like you're saying, like, oh, should you wear shoes on your feet or on your hands?
Right.
But I think the way they make lasagna in Italy is with a bechamel sauce instead of ricotta cheese.
I
But
have-
ricotta cheese lasagna is very good. I don't want.
I am.
Does
team-
anyone know
team
what
Mike.
bechamel is? Cheer if you know what bechamel is.
All right.
Okay, and then
It just makes for a silkier, creamier lasagna.
cheer if you love
Ricotta
ricotta
dries-
cheese.
Ow.
Woo! I
you're-
mean, like, I feel like ricotta
I'm
is
with-
just the best
I'm
with
with
You're
Mike
just in
on
a
this
room
one,
full of
though.
peasants, though. That's the problem.
I'm with Mike on this one, though. I'm team bechamel.
Your
Thanks,
team
Maria.
bechamel.
You're welcome, Mike.
Well, you're both dead to me.
That's all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we gonna
Well,
have
thanks
questions?
for being here and supporting the show. These girls
Yes,
work
thank
really
you.
hard.
So that was fun to listen to.
Right. Yeah, it was fun to live, but then also to listen to.
Yes, of course.
So I at my office we had this meditation and wellness type of meeting.
Nice.
And one of the meditation exercises was we were all in a room, and she instructed us to partner up. And then what we had to do was stand face to face and leave our hands at our sides without
Okay.
folding them in front of us. We're not going to be able to do this on the podcast. But,
Okay.
But 'cause
Modified
Maria's
version.
setting up. She's like following my instructions.
Yes, I am.
And stare at each other for 5 minutes straight, and without laughing, without talking, without moving your hands and like readjusting if you find yourself doing that, but like just staring there and being seen and seeing someone else in front of you.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
I've
How did
done-
you respond?
I started giggling, and so was my partner. And then
Mhm.
the instructor was like, kind of got angry at us. Like,
Uh-oh.
she was like, "This is."
take it seriously.
She was like, "This is not funny. Like, can't you just be with someone and just be?"
right.
And it's true. Like, we always, not always. I shouldn't say always,
well,
but
that teacher
we-
should remove some bias. And I don't know if
yeah,
that's she should
she's
she should try to be more objective in her
Maybe.
observations.
maybe. That's
She
interesting.
should suggest that you be comfortable to be seen
Right.
and allow that
Yeah.
person to feel comfortable being seen.
Yeah,
right?
she kind of went right for the jugular, so I
Right.
just like
She
appreciated
was like,
it.
"You are incompetent."
Oh,
Was
kind
this
of.
the Staten Island meditation class?
Yes, it was. I wasn't even going to mention that, but you read my mind. Anyway, so it was definitely uncomfortable, and as individuals, as humans,
Mm-hmm.
we tend to fidget, and it is hard to just sit still, and that's like
Mhm.
one of the big parts, one of the many facets of meditation, just appreciating the stillness and letting thoughts just come to you and just realizing that they are just temporary. They're just thoughts. Let them drift away like a cloud. And you're
Uh-huh.
observing your thoughts. You're like, oh, I'm worried about my parking tickets. And you're like, okay, let that thought go. And a new thought will come. And you just have
yeah,
to learn
I
to
feel like
observe
I'm always
the thoughts.
meditating. That's how I think about everything. But then I'm
That's-
always like, I have to not forget that parking ticket. I
Right,
let it go
yes.
so fast that like I might forget and still not pay it, which is something you should be worried about. So like I'm constantly meditated. I'm never worried. But I should be a little bit more worried because I have a parking ticket from January I have to pay. It's getting
Interesting.
more expensive, but I keep forgetting. When we finish, I should pay it.
Yes.
Anyway, do you want to know how I felt when I did the
Silly?
meditation?
I
No,
just
how would
picked a
you
word.
picture my behavior during this activity? So we were instructed to stare at each other for 5 minutes. How do you think that I would behave?
I thought you would take it seriously.
Yeah, I had no issue with this activity.
Okay, good.
But what I did feel like was that my partner Janika, who was my CF, and we are close, like we're good friends too. So I'm not a stranger to her or somebody who I don't think I intimidate her in any capacity.
Good.
But I could tell she was so uncomfortable.
Yes.
And and I kept trying to be calm, and I kept being like, look at my nose, just
You're
look there, so you
You're
don't
trying to
feel
do
so
like
uncomfortable.
speech on her when you're supposed to be meditating. Just saying.
Right. So then because I felt bad because I felt like I could stare at her and be comfortable the whole time, but it was like hurting her. It was hurting
Yes.
her for me to do that.
Yes.
That's how I felt. It
'Cause
was like I was like, being wicked and like, like causing somebody to feel pain with my powers.
I know how you feel, and
Yeah.
that's the Cancer in us. We're a Cancer horoscope,
Right.
and that's something we have in common. I feel like we're big empaths.
So I kept I could have stared at her forever and been okay, but I kept looking away because I was like
Hurting
I'm
her. And you're like, this is terrible feeling.
Yes,
It's
that's
like
how I felt.
You feel like double hurt. They're hurt, and then you're hurt for hurting them.
Yes.
Yeah, we absorb other people's
Yeah,
emotions.
so I had to look away. But yeah,
I get
was
it.
fine.
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good. I'm glad we agree. Cheers.
Cheers
Oh,
on
I
us
I don't have
agreeing.
any wine
Oh, well, because you drank it all.
left. Well, because I
So-
was listening to Mike Racine.
Right. So, everyone, that you heard was a small little
I'm gonna
snippet.
pour some more bitch
Yeah.
wine.
Okay.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
almost
so-
knocked over the
Yeah,
table.
no worries. So, that was a
Maria.
small little snippet from our show on May 31st. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll have another live show. Yeah, we're just thinking of different ideas. But for now, we're just going to drink our wine and enjoy our night. So,
Right.
everyone, this has been another episode. Oh, we need a quote. We need
Or
a quote.
tip or trick.
Or tip or trick. Oh, I gave a tip or trick.
Oh,
Just
what
pick
was
the number 5.
Oh, but mine's to pick 7.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm.
like the number 5 because you have 5 fingers. So, how about this tip or trick? Take 5
I have
deep.
10 fingers.
Right. 5 fingers on one hand. You take 5 deep breaths with your student, and you could label that as take 5. Actually, I went to a PD on that,
Mm-hmm.
and they talked about that as a strategy, like holding 5 fingers up and counting on each finger 1 breath in, 1 breath out, and then eventually teaching your student just putting your hand up, and they know, oh, a hand up means 5 deep breaths.
Yeah, Jennifer did our meeting on wellness, and she talked about box breathing.
I talked about that
and
on the
she-
show.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she talked about breathing in through one nostril and exhaling out the
Oh,
other.
that's a little hard, but yes.
I do that one a lot. I like that one,
That's a good one.
and also some other types of breathing. She was excellent too. It was good. It's good to focus on yourself sometimes. I think, but I think I do it too much. I think I need to take it back a notch.
Maybe. What's your
Yeah.
tip or trick about the number
Oh.
7, though?
Oh, so I had a different tip or trick though.
Oh, okay. So
Because I have an idea and I don't know if I'm ever really going to do it. So I thought I should just put it out there in case somebody else does it.
or you can manifest you doing it, but go ahead.
But maybe I won't do it. That doesn't mean it should be undone. Maybe it's meant for someone else. So this is my idea.
Okay.
I'm starting at a new school in September. So
Right.
I'm thinking about making a class list, right? And then when I meet each child, I'm going to have a column for nickname. In our first speech therapy session, we're going to choose together this individual's nickname. And I have, like, let's say I have 50 kids. I'm going to have 50 options so that no matter what, somebody could just pick one and I'll cross them off, right? So I'm going to give everyone a nickname on day one in speech. And that's going to be our first thing. Our second thing is I'm going to have 4 character masks. And they're going to choose which one is like their spirit animal. And they'll make that mask. And they can wear it during speech if they want. And I'm going to have all different types of things. Like maybe a rabbit and like that bear that I have. And then like something in the water like a dolphin.
Seahorse. Yes.
You like the dolphin?
I like dolphins.
And then something that can fly.
cool.
So something like that. And, like, we'll see, like, what do they choose? Like, what are they drawn to? And then, like,
Yes.
maybe that'll decide, like, the theme of their speech. Like, most of their stuff will be about rabbits.
right.
Or, like, characteristics that rabbits have. Like, they're omnivores. They're fast. What are
Yeah.
other things that are fast? What are other things that are...
and maybe stories that take place in settings like you would find a rabbit, like
Yeah.
forest stories.
So that'll be the nonfiction part.
Yeah.
So that's how... So fiction and nonfiction can be about, like, the like, what the setting is like you said.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then like,
Great.
but then also like we could personify rabbits in the story, you know.
So much with rabbits.
Yeah, well, so like their stuff's all about rabbits because that's
Yeah.
what they picked in the beginning. It's like your interest inventory.
Yes, exactly.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have a list of 50 kids. I'm gonna have a column for nicknames, and I'm gonna have a column for spirit animal. In our first speech therapy session, we're going to assign ourselves a nickname and design a spirit animal mask.
That sounds amazing.
And so I'm going to do this, and I hope that I do
And
it.
I'm-
And if no one else, if I don't do it, just make sure someone else does
Yeah.
this.
That's a lot, and that's great. I'll do a condensed version of that, but I still like
How
my
is
tip or
it
trick.
really condensed? How is it?
I'm
How is it-
kidding.
I don't know.
No,
it
it's-
sounds easy.
It does sound pretty easy. You're
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
You're
just
right.
I'm going to have it's going to say Maria.
You scared me with the 50 kids. That's what I think. The caseload
Oh.
management scared me, and I panicked instantly.
Oh,
Let's just say your caseload, your kids. You know, pick 10
I
if you want
was
to start
telling you
small.
how to make sure it will definitely
know.
happen.
So
50 of everything.
50 of everything.
Just like we did 30 with everything
Right.
this year. You know, it's not hard to remember things when you just do it across the board.
across the board.
Across the board.
All right, let's
50.
make this episode 50 minutes. How about that?
Oh, okay. We're
Yeah.
at 47:22.
Yeah. So anyway, random. We like to pick our quotes, and I have
Yeah.
a very nice one. But
Mhm.
you, I feel like, haven't really said a quote, so I don't know if you.
You can say a quote.
Okay. It's happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions, and that's by
Right.
the Dalai Lama.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I believe, is that you choose your happiness because you make decisions and you have to own up to them too. I think this is also about owning up to your decisions. Like, I chose this and that's why I'm here, and be proud of it. And even if it's a quote unquote mistake, like, learn from it and grow from it.
Right. Yes.
That's my opinion on that
Mhm.
quote.
Yes.
How would you interpret this quote?
I would say that it means that happiness is an inside job.
Okay. I feel like that's a quote within another quote.
I know.
Good one.
No, that's what it's trying to say. It's like you have to choose. It's within you. It's all like, if you are intrinsically motivated to be happy, then you will choose tasks that are aligned with happiness. Or like, if you don't know how to quantify happiness, it's like what happens that makes you the most happy. So what's your personal life like? What's your career like? And then what's your like health like? So I'm the
Right.
happiest when I
Go to yoga for me. but
so like when I eat right, when I exercise,
when I
I'm
sleep.
balancing
Oh.
all of my responsibilities, and when I sleep and I have my nails done.
Nails done is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of good stuff. But also knowing that that's what you need and want, and you make time for that. So
Yeah.
don't use excuse as a time, like, because like you said, time is elastic.
Yeah, time's elastic.
I'll be like, I don't have time to go to the gym. Well, that's okay if you don't want to go to the gym, but, appreciate the time you have more time for,
Right.
So that's our little spiel, and we have 30 seconds to say good night, everyone. Thank you for listening. I'm Maria,
I'm Deb.
and Kalinichta
What does that mean?
means good night in Greek, which I will be going to Greece this summer. So
SLP party in Greece.
SELP party in Greece. All right, let's put it out there.
Okay.
So any Greek SLPs, message me. Adios. I really wanted this
Adios,
episode to be 50
amigos.
minutes, so when we
Goodbye, my
get stopped,
friends.
everyone will know.
Hasta